Don't miss the tea. Subscribe now.
Girl, you better sit down. Put your coffee down because I am absolutely shaking right now. I am vibrating with rage. I called you 3 times, but you didn't pick up, so I'm just going to spill this all out now because if I keep this inside for one more second, I am going to scream until the windows shatter. You know how much I've trusted that daycare, right? You know my babies have been there for 2.5 years. I thought these people were family. But let me tell you, my entire world just flipped upside down last night. It started last night, just a regular Tuesday night in Alabama. I'm doing the evening routine with my son, he's 3, and out of nowhere he starts getting really clingy. He's crying, getting worked up, looking at me with those big, teary eyes, and he says, "Mommy, I don't want to go to school anymore." At first, I'm thinking maybe someone took a toy from him, so I'm trying to soothe him, rubbing his back. And then, oh God, I feel sick just saying this. He looks at me and says, "She took my Gooby out and touched it." Girl, my heart stopped. We taught him Gooby as a silly nickname for his private parts, but thank God he had a word for it. I asked him, "Who, baby?" And he tells me it's one of the big girls. He tells me this girl does it all the time. I felt like I was going to throw up. I asked him if he told anyone. And this is the part that makes me want to burn the whole place to the ground. He looked at me and said, "I told my teacher." He told his teacher. My 3-year-old baby advocated for himself. And do you know what he said happened? He said the teacher just told the girl not to do it again. Like she stole a cracker. No phone call to me. No incident report. Just a "Hey, don't sexually assault the toddlers, okay?" I didn't sleep a wink last night. I was plotting, girl. So this morning comes. I dragged myself out of bed and was on a warpath. I drove to that daycare with my knuckles white on the steering wheel. I walked in there, went straight to his teacher, looked her dead in the eye and told her exactly what my son told me. I said, "My son told me that a school-aged girl touched his private parts, that she does it all the time, and that he told a teacher and nothing was done." And you know what this woman did? She got defensive. She says, "Well, if he told that teacher, it must have been during after-school care because we switched shifts at 3:00 p.m. Are you kidding me? I don't care about your shift change. I care about my son. She had the nerve to tell me that no one made her aware of anything. I told her, voice shaking, "I do not want that girl anywhere near my child. Where is the owner?" Of course, the owner isn't there. Then the teacher does something that confirmed everything. She looks at my son, my poor, traumatized little boy, and asks him to point out the girl. And before he even lifts his little finger, she looks at me, drops her voice, and says, "I'm pretty sure I know who he is talking about." Excuse me, you have a suspicion that there's a predator in your midst, a 7 or 8-year-old child acting out in sexual ways, and you've just been, what? Watching, waiting. If you knew this girl was trouble, why was she allowed near the 3-year-olds? My son points. He points right at this girl across the room. She's probably 7, maybe 8. The teacher immediately scooped my son up, thank God, and marched over to that girl and told her to go to another room. But the damage is done, right? My son was assaulted by a little girl, in a place that I pay to keep him safe. I am standing in the parking lot right now trying to compose myself. I keep replaying his little voice saying, "She does it all the time." How many times? And what the hell is going on in that little girl's house? Because let's be real, a 7-year-old doesn't just come up with that behavior out of thin air. It is extremely concerning. I feel like this child needs to be expelled immediately and needs intense therapy. And honestly, the daycare needs to be investigated. They are DHR funded. That means the state of Alabama is paying them to be up to code, and the teachers are supposed to be up to date on all their mandatory reporter training. How is it possible that a toddler reports abuse to a teacher, and the protocol is to just say, "Stop it"? Why wasn't I called the second those words left his mouth? Why wasn't there an incident report filed? Why wasn't the owner called last night? I feel so helpless, but I also feel like I'm about to go full law and order on them. I don't know what to expect in the next few days. I need to know my options. Legally, can I sue? Can I press charges against the daycare for negligence? Can I force them to pay for my son's therapy? Because he's going to need it. He's 3, and he's already learned that adults won't listen when he says someone is hurting him. I have to undo that damage. I'm waiting for the owner to call me back. I want to know what they are going to do to make sure the school, the teacher who ignored him, The child and her parents are held accountable. I'm not letting this slide. I'm terrified, girl. I'm terrified that this is going to stick with him. And I'm furious at myself for dropping him off this morning, even though I pulled him right back out. I need you to tell me I'm not crazy. I need you to tell me that wanting to burn this place down, metaphorically, is the right reaction. I feel like I'm drowning in guilt and anger. And to think, yesterday I was just worried about potty training. Now I'm navigating sexual assault allegations at a preschool. I'm going to call the state licensing board and DHR myself. I don't care if that makes me the problem parent. If being a problem protects my son's gooby and his mental health, then I'll be the biggest problem they've ever seen in the state of Alabama. Call me back, please. I need to hear a sane voice before I walk back in there and start screaming again. Love you. Bye.